Well, hello everyone, I'm Postmaster Radio, and it's time to bring on the funny. You're listening to Ujokes Weekly, the one and only podcast highlighting Jonathan Mangum's fantastically funny virtual comedy show, Ujokes. It's where comedians compete for the most laughs. Plus, you guys and gals as part of the audience on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch also have a chance to take home the crown of comedy. That's why it is literally comedy gold at your fingertips. Today I'm counting down my picks for the top 5 jokes from this week's episode of Ujokes, show number 89 to be specific, with Shawn Pelofsky and Monroe Martin III. But before we get started, friendly little reminder that if you missed the most recent Ujokes show with Lee Barron and the woo-woo lady herself, Danielle Wooden, catch up now via the podcast link in the description. You can also subscribe to the Ujokes YouTube channel. In fact, you should do that, and you can check out the full show from that channel. Also, to continuing listeners of the podcast, brand new ones as well, thank you so much for stopping by. If this is your first time listening and you happen to be listening from either Apple Podcasts or Podchaser, please leave those ratings and reviews if it is not too much trouble. And those of you that have tuned in before, you know how we do it, but if you don't, simple enough, top 5 countdown with the 5 best jokes. Keep in mind, of course, I do not consider my own jokes just because I'm the host of the Ujokes podcast, and I don't think it would be fair. Otherwise, this would turn into the Postmaster Radio Comedy Hour, and we all know that would not end well. So that means my joke from Name the Movie, with that Lincoln pick, will not be included for consideration. But anyway, top 5 countdown, and then after that, you gotta keep listening for the Ujokes Awards full of additional highlights to come. But for now, ladies and gents, let's get right to it. At spot number 5 on the old Ujokes countdown, we're starting off with, actually, you know what, the game that came after Name the Movie. What's this a commercial for? Now, those of you listening on YouTube, you see what the pick is, but for those of you listening on the non-YouTube platforms, the best I can do is just use Jonathan's joke for this one, a 16-foot deck. I mean, yeah. I can't think of any other way to describe this crazy pick. But anyway, based on that pick, the players had to come up with the commercial name. In other words, what is this commercial for? I mean, the title is pretty straightforward. Shout out to Angela Rosender, representing Team Audience, for her joke, Finger-leggin' good. Finger-leggin' good. I mean, I'm going to assume this was a KFC commercial based on that joke. But anyway, well done, Angela Rosender. Now moving up the comedy ladder to spot number 4. And here we go to a talented woman by the name of Melanie Smith, all the way from Australia. She was this week's Last Show's Best, which, yeah, quite the honor. But in case you're wondering, just before we get to Melanie's joke, what is Last Show's Best? Well, allow me to tell you. Unfortunately, not everyone can compete on Ujokes Live. It's sad, but what much can you do about it? Actually, this much. You can still submit your own jokes. Maybe you were playing live, but your jokes were not picked by Josh. Or maybe you just missed the show altogether because you had that thing you couldn't get out of. No problem, you can still go to the comment section of, say, YouTube, because that's where I usually watch Ujokes on. That's the platform I use. But of course, you can submit your jokes on Facebook, Twitch, or again, wherever you're getting Ujokes from. Jonathan and Josh will go back. They will look through those jokes, and if there happen to be any for the week, those mini Ujokes caption this challenges that pop up in the community tab of the Ujokes YouTube channel. They can also be found on Jonathan's Facebook page. But in any sense, whichever joke is numero uno in Jonathan and Josh's eyes, the person who submitted that joke will get to compete on the next Ujokes show, which, by the way, if all goes to plan, will be coming up on Monday, September 20th at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, 9 Eastern. The Last Show's Best winner will compete in the final round of that show against the pros and Team Audience. That's got to be pretty exciting, am I right? Or am I right? But anyway, that's Last Show's Best. Here's Melanie's joke, and it's from a game we talked about quite a bit last week. Jing Along with My First Fire. And I said it last week, but I'll say it again. All of the jokes from that game were on fire. Pun fully intended, and Melanie's joke is definitely no exception. Her jingle is, and I quote, Help little Carson become a mega arson, and he'll feel the burn when it's time to learn. See that smile of delight as he sets the house alight. Be an impulse buyer with my first fire. Yeah, Melanie, I gotta give you some props for that one. I mean, that is a solid jingle. You have my respect, Melanie. And we will come back to Melanie in just a little bit, but for now, I think it's time we shine the spotlight on the pros. Specifically, Monroe Martin III. He winds up at spot number 3 on the countdown for a game called Dream Interpretation. Dream Interpretation, one of my favorite games, for the picture of a guy in a loaf of bread outfit shopping in a supermarket. You have to ask yourself one thing. Were this very interesting image to pop up in one's dream, what would that mean for the dreamer? Well, Monroe has a pretty good idea about that one.
I feel like this dream means he feels constrained and like his life has 2 weeks to expire. Like it's 2 weeks of expiration for him.
Oh, man. Reduced for quick sale. That is the tastiest bread I've ever had.
Well done, man. And, still on Dream Interpretation at spot number 2 on the countdown, here's where we get to, once again, Melanie Last Show's Best Smith.
Well, being in my 4th month of lockdown, wandering through the shops is nothing but a dream. So I, in fact, had this dream the other day. I was loafing through the supermarket, thought I was just browsing, but before I knew it, my trolley was full and my credit card was toast. I woke up and thought, geez, what a crummy dream.
Yes! A pun machine. Objection sustained. Good job, Mel.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to say anything for this one. Jonathan pretty much took the words out of my mouth. Well done to Melanie Smith, the pun machine. But unfortunately, not good enough to be number 1 on the Ujokes countdown. That spot is taken by Shawn Pelofsky. Now, I don't know if this is just because, oh my god, I really love this meta joke. And why meta joke? Well, you'll find out in a minute. This is from the game Finish the Lyric. And for the lyric, I'm up all night to get blank. Now, of course, you don't want to finish this with the actual lyric. You want to finish it in your own funny way. Shawn sure did, and this, my friend, is where we get to the meta joke.
I'm up all night to get punchlines for this joke.
Yes.
Oh yeah, so that's that for the Ujokes countdown. Oh, and before we get to the Ujokes awards, just in case some of you are like, what the heck is a meta joke? If you don't know or don't have time to Google search it, basically it's like someone in a comedy show makes a joke that refers to the actual show itself. So Shawn's joke, a reference to the actual Ujokes show. If you know what I mean, it kind of refers to the whole concept of Ujokes. Like, do you understand what I mean? If you do, you do. If you don't, you may need to do Google search. Anyway, with that being said, that is it for the top 5 countdown. Now we go on to the Ujokes Awards. It is like the Oscars, except 10 million times funnier. True dad. First up is the award for Comedian of the Week, and I gotta say, Shawn's meta joke was too good to ignore. So, for me anyway, I think Shawn won, but not according to you guys when you voted for this week's Comedian of the Week award. For Twitter, it was a tie between both pros, but now looking on Insta, we have a tie-breaking vote from Martin Jones for Monroe Martin. So it looks like for you guys, Monroe will be your Comedian of the Week, but honestly, well done to both pros. For Game of the Week, taking a look at that poll on Twitter, a tie between Finish the Lyric and Dream Interpretation. Me personally, I'm going to go with Dream Interpretation. I really loved that pick, first of all, and second, both Monroe and Melanie's jokes slayed. So, for me, when it's like 2 jokes in one game manage to be that good, honestly, instead of just 1 joke in one game, definitely going to count for something. So well done to the Dream Interpretation game. And for the next award, we go to that very special award for that certain somebody on the Ujokes audience, the Audience Award. And you know what? No question about it. Sorry, Angela Rosender, but I'm not giving it to you and your finger-legging good joke, no matter how finger-legging good it was. I'm gonna give it to Melanie Smith. Melanie, congratulations, you have won the Audience Award simply because you caught me by surprise, actually, if I'm being honest, with the last show's best jingle and your puntastic joke in dream interpretation, so no question about it. Melanie Smith, recipient of the Audience Award, which is not an actual award but a title, but still, you won it! Well done! And as for Mangum Moment, the award that shines the spotlight on Ujokes host Jonathan Mangum, gotta give it to a joke he had from the game. What is this a commercial for? And I said it before, 16-foot deck, but honestly, that stood out the most out of all the other Mangum moments, so I'm gonna give it to that. And by the way, puntastic joke from Jonathan. Truly puntastic. And with that, you know what? We're almost done with this week's podcast. But first, a couple of final announcements. First, you of course know that the next Ujokes show, if all goes to plan, will be on Monday, September 20th. But for more Ujokes fun, you can visit the website of the official virtual comedy show created by Ujokes fanatic Craig in the UK. That's ujokes.com. Link to that will also be in the description. And if you want more comedy shows on the Ujokes YouTube channel, no problem. There's High Joke Score, where jokes equal cash. New episode of that dropping this Friday on the Ujokes YouTube channel. There is also FMK Champions, hosted by college humorist Carolyn Page. It's a show about effing, marrying, and killing people and or objects. If you're interested in that sort of thing, check it out. New episodes of that also on the Ujokes channel Wednesday nights at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern. And speaking of Ujokes/FMK, I want to remind you about that awesome merch. Ujokes mug, FMK shirts, you name it. You want to get your own merch, go to ujokes.creator-spring.com. I'll also leave a link to the website in the description. And now we are done. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Ujokes Weekly. Hope you had a great time. Remember to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Postmaster Radio. Plus like, subscribe, comment, rate, and review on Spreaker, Spotify, the Apple and Google podcast platforms, Podchaser, Castbox, not to mention my YouTube channel. The list goes on. The account links can all be found in the description. Thank you again for tuning in, and until next time, well, bye for now. See ya!